What's up? It's been a while. Took a little hiatus. I've been thinking about this a lot kind of lately for myself. Um, just wanted to share some of my inner workings of my brain. um, now, I don't necessarily think this is something that's like done intentionally. Maybe sometimes it is, but I feel like people are kind of always trying to make you feel bad about yourself or like you're not doing enough. And I used to like really allow myself to fall prey to this a lot more than I would like to admit. Um, and I took a almost 2 month hiatus from social media, and I've just been doing so much internal work, which seems like that's the thing to do these days. Um, but really, I've been doing a lot of inner work over the last year, and it's a journey for sure. But I've gotten a lot better at letting stuff like this just like roll off my back, whereas before I wouldn't really do that. I also have gotten better about speaking up. Like if somebody, because sometimes people will just say something like, "Oh, you're like this," and um, it's like, I don't know why this didn't make sense before, but you can reject that. And I didn't know you could do that. It's like, oh, somebody's saying that about me to my face. And if they're a good friend or someone I feel like maybe should know me well, um, then I would kind of just take it at face value and maybe accept it and internalize it, even though it may not be something that I really feel is myself. And now I'm like, nope, that's not me. Sorry. You got it wrong. Um, but anyway, I've also kind of just realized that this is more about like people's own projections of their own self and all that jazz. You can go down your own rabbit hole about that stuff. But, um, I would kind of like have a tendency to look at where I'm not instead of just really relishing and enjoying where I'm at and enjoying the process and how far I've come. I'm like the worst at relishing in accomplishments. I hit a goal and I'm like, okay, on to the next one. And I don't really like take the moment to just let it soak in. Like, man, you know what? I actually made a really big accomplishment. Um, I always say there's like a direct correlation in how I train and how I kind of like process in my personal life. I go down all these different rabbit holes. I'm like a huge nerd. I love learning in general, but I love learning about the human body and I feel like what we're all capable of. And I mean, that's why I want to share, is just because I feel like maybe it will reach someone that can show like I never thought I would do any of the stuff that I'm doing, and maybe if someone else can, relate to that, you can feel like you can too, because you can. Like literally it's mind over matter. You can do whatever you set out to do. Anyway, like in my reading about all these different like training methods and, all different kinds of like sports training, I've delved into like reading and watching a lot of stuff about like training for marathons or just training for running in general, long distance. And well, and short distance, but mainly I've just been curious of how you do train for a marathon and things like that and different people's philosophies. Anyway, I always would see this like this was like why I was like, I'm not going to be a runner. But it's like this, you have to run slow to get fast. And everybody says this, it's like everywhere in any training thing. And it's not that I didn't believe it, it's just that I was like, that just sounds counterintuitive. And I had set a goal before, or like when I started training for Hyrox, that I would do a steady state run for 5 miles. I made a video about how I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, let alone on a treadmill. And I did both 2 weeks ago. So I will take this moment to relish in that accomplishment because it was pretty great. And it actually was like, I was shocked at how, like, I could have gone further. It was really nice because I went super, super slow. You know, I wouldn't have it any other way that I approached it that way because it made me want to do it again. And that was the other reason or the other goal I set. It was like I wanted to finish it, I wanted to run all of it, and I wanted to make myself want to do it again. And it's like it's my pace. I'm not going to let anybody else make me feel bad about running at my pace. And if they do, they can kick rocks, I guess. um, and what do you know? It's like the 2 months that I took as like kind of a hiatus, I also really focused on steady state training. So I was doing longer runs and I was doing really long rows for myself. That's kind of a separate thing. I have this like weird goal that I want to do 10,000 meters in one sitting. So I worked up to 8,000 and I'll still play with it, but that's not like 100% my focus right now since I'm 2 months out from High Rocks. But anyway, it's just, when they say trust the process, it's like, yeah, trust the process, but the caveat is trust your process and don't like forget anybody, or no, don't. You should forget anybody who makes you feel bad about your personal process. And, or if they're making you feel bad for not being at their level or whatever, like who cares? I don't know about you, but I am trying to build a sustainable, lifelong, I mean, this is like the yoga in me, but practice of whatever physical thing or whatever thing I get into. And it's like, people have made me feel like I'm behind my whole life. And I've made myself feel like I'm behind my whole life. And I'm just not on that energy anymore. Like, I am trying to build something sustainable that will just like get me through anything that life throws my way. So, anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what I've learned in this time away. And again, I've never promised to be that consistent because I don't know how consistent I'll be. But I hope everyone is having a great week, and I will catch you on the flip side.